Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Matt Report, courtesy of the Cobos Insurance Center. I'm Tim Elkhorn with AM 930 WEOL, joined each and every week on this video segment by Sean Bennett of the Chronicle Telegram. Great to have you with us, and we appreciate you taking the time to watch this weekly video as we talk about area wrestling, what's going on the mats as far as Lorain County wrestling individuals and teams are concerned. Sean, great to have you back, and obviously we've got a lot to talk about this week. As we mentioned last week during our weekly video, there were plenty of tournaments, there was plenty of action on the mats last weekend, so kind of a quick look back. What caught your attention from last weekend?
Well, obviously, the tournament that I usually cover this time of year is the Perry Pin City. I didn't get to cover this year because I was on, we had holiday vacation with the family, so I didn't get off vacation until this weekend, so I missed that tournament. But it sounds like there was fireworks there, as always. A lot of local teams, which is nice, and it's on the east side of Cleveland, so they're out there with some teams that we don't get to see as often. That's one of the reasons I like going out there. You get to see some teams. I mean, they come as far as the team that's won it the last couple of years is Erie Cathedral Prep from Pennsylvania. So they travel there every year, and they do a good job. And again, they won there, and they kind of blew out everybody, all the Ohio teams, which is unfortunate. You want to see Ohio competing a little bit better against that against a team like that. But our local teams showed up there and they did well. Avon finished fourth there. There's 17 teams in that field. Amherst was fifth, and North Ridgeville was 10th. So top 10 teams, 3 local teams in that tournament. So nice to see several finalists. Jack Resch from Avon was runner-up at 220, and Matt Lee runner-up at 285. Which obviously means that Matt Lee did suffer his first loss of the season, and he did it again to Kawan DeBow is the guy's name. He's a 2-time state placer. He's a junior from Erie Cathedral Prep, 2-time state placer in Pennsylvania. Tough kid. They've got a rivalry going. Last year, Matt Lee was undefeated and took his first loss to this kid again this year. It's kind of unfortunate because you want to see him finally get one to win in that rivalry. But unfortunately, he's lost the last 3 years of that kid.
And in reading the accounts of that match in the Chronicle Telegram, got a little dicey. You said this has been a rivalry that has now developed between these two wrestlers. And while it's unfortunate that Matt Lee lost his first match of the season, he kind of took the high road. And that's good to read and it's good to hear.
And it shows growth because, like I said, I've covered this tournament for the last few years. And as a sophomore, when DeBow was a freshman, the kid from Erie, he was talking a lot of smack to Matt Lee, and Matt lost his cool there for a minute and kind of got a point deducted for a hit upside the head. This time he didn't let the trash talking get to him. He, like you said, he kept his cool, and they wrestled it out. So it's nice to see that he's not letting that get under his skin anymore. It's also not an easy loss to take. It's a loss that doesn't hurt you as much mentally because it's a kid from Pennsylvania. It's a kid that you're not going to have to worry about beating, down the road. He doesn't have to worry, I can't, I've lost this kid 3 times, can I beat him in the state tournament? Well, they're not going to see each other in the state tournament. In fact, unfortunately, this rivalry, even though it's only 3 matches long, is probably over because Matt is leaning toward playing football in college, so there's not really a chance that he's going to meet this kid again on the mats, but it'd been nice to maybe get one more match with him, maybe get that win under his belt. But like I said, it's a match that's easy to kind of shuffle out of the head, this loss, shuffle it out of the head, go forward saying, hey, nobody in Ohio's beat me yet. I'm going to go forward and I'm going to get the job done.
And you and I were talking before we rolled our video here, the fact that Matt Lee has not lost a match in the month of December since his sophomore year. I mean, it just kind of shows you and tells you the role that he's been on the past couple of years.
Right, and he was on a roll going into this match. I mean, like we said, right. he suffered his first loss of the season last year to the Erie kid again this year, so he's gone through two straight Decembers undefeated. And going into that finals match, I think I wrote down here, Matt Lee had won 5 matches going into the final there, and he had pinned everybody in under 1 minute 7 seconds. Wow. I think one was 1 minute and 4 seconds, 1 minute and 7. All the rest were under a minute. So again, he's just dominating everybody that he's facing on the mat. So he's got to feel still pretty confident about what's ahead of him in the future.
And real quick, we do have to compliment the other Lorain County teams that were at that tournament because, as we've said throughout these weekly wrestling videos, good competition will simply make you better. And it looks as though the Lorain County teams, they go out and they compete in these tournaments and they compete where they know other great wrestling programs are going to be.
Right, and that's what the Perry Penn City's offered some good, stiff mid-season competition. We also talked about Firelands. Firelands went out to Perrysburg. Perrysburg's a nice little hike out there. I've been out there for the district tournament. The district tournament's again there for Division I this year. I'll be out there again this year. And Perrysburg brings some tough competition. Fremont Ross, Perrysburg, Oregon Clay's out there. Everybody on that northwest side of Ohio, some of the biggest programs are at that tournament. And Firelands went out there just the same reason as these teams go to these big tournaments, to sharpen the steel, steel sharpen steel, that type of thing. And, of course, they're two big dogs got the job done. The bookends, as I like to call it, 106, Peyton Bergdorf. 285 heavyweight, Sean Lipscomb went through undefeated and won their individual titles.
Very cool. Anything else from last weekend before we kind of move ahead to this weekend? And then, of course, our tip of the cap.
Yeah, well, obviously, we had several other tournaments. Our local tournament was the Columbia Invitational. We had multiple teams involved in that. Columbia finished 7th in their own host tournament. Lyria's white team, the second varsity team, they finished 9th. Oberlin finished 10th out of 13 teams. And again, Oberlin with another placer, this time Reggie Bouchonville, their twin brothers.
Right.
He placed 3rd there. So again, those two guys are putting keep Oberlin going, keep that progressing. Jake Evans, a freshman from Elyria, went in and won his first high school state tournament championship as well. And then Joe Governal from Columbia was a finalist there. And the other local finalists, Vermilion had Trevor Boy was a finalist at the J.C. Gorman Invitational out at Mansfield, and Keystone had 3 finalists at the Plymouth Invitational. They finished second there, with David McCullough and Justin Oakletree winning championships, and Hudson Hall finishing runner-up at 182 pounds.
So a good weekend as far as the Keystone Wrestling program was concerned.
Yeah, it's good all around. I like to see, every tournament that locals competed in, they, put guys into finals, they put guys on the podiums. That's what you want to see. You want to see these guys keep taking steps forward, and it seems Lorain County teams are definitely doing that.
So even though some inclement weather is in the forecast for this weekend, if folks want to get out and about and kind of battle through the rain and the sleet and the snow, we're some good wrestling on the mats.
Well, come join me. And that's right, I said me. I will be out on the mats. Actually, Thursday I'll be in my first, getting to cover my first action of the season. They've unchained me from the sports desk, so I will be covering some local dual meets on Thursday. But I will be out traveling out to the Maumee Bay Classic at Oregon Clay. Been out to Oregon Clay many times for sectional tournaments. We had the state dual regional semis and finals there years ago when Lorain and Elyria went. It's a really nice school and a lot of good teams there, and the Maumee Bay is a high-end tournament again. We have Amherst, Avon Lake, Elyria, Lorain, and Vermilion, 5 Lorain County teams traveling out to the Toledo area. And if you go out there at Oregon Clay, join me for lunch at Tony Paco's. Tony Paco's is
Watch the free plugs here.
Right around, but it is right around the corner. Well, there's no Tony Paco's anywhere but Toledo.
That's true.
So
That's true.
But yeah, definitely, it's a place to go. Kind of really cool. You've seen it, the MASH.
Oh yeah.
But so that's fun. Then the other ones, Avon and Midview are going to be at the Bill Dees Memorial. It's another big tournament. And Elyria has been there for years, and they've kind of switched over to the Maumee Bay this year. So I'm kind of interested to see how that shakes out. But that's out at the Akron Firestone. Those are weekend-long tournaments, Fridays and Saturdays. And then some of the Saturday-only tournaments, Clearview is going to be at the Coach Ant Classic after Coach Antonishin, the longtime wrestling coach at Westlake. Columbia will be at the Tiger Duels, another of those dual tournaments at Twinsburg High. Wellington's going to be at the Husky Duels at Northwestern High, so a couple of duels tournaments. And then one of my favorites, Elyria Catholic's going to be at the Catholic Invitational Tournament. That's on Saturday and Sunday.
CIT.
And that's at St. Ignatius, and that's the one that rotates. Every 4 years they go to the 4 quadrants of Ohio so that different groups can host it, and all the Catholic schools can kind of flock to that area and see different parts of the state and all these different teams and things like that in battle. They do a big school and small school division. Elyria Catholic obviously in the small school division, but it's a lot of fun. It's a good tournament to watch.
All right, we've already given Tony Paco's our free plug. Now, how about Cobos Insurance and the tip of the cap? Some people actually pay for the advertising, Sean Bennett. So it's time for the Cobos Insurance Center tip of the cap. We like to recognize a wrestler every week for their outstanding work out on the mat. So, Sean, who gets the tip of the cap this week?
Well, this week I think we're going to go with Firelands heavyweight Sean Lipscomb. The senior obviously has been getting the job done for 4 straight years. Like we said, him and Peyton Bergdorf, the two of them won titles there at the Perrysburg Invitational this weekend. Lipscomb beat Centerville's Jacob Charette, who's ranked number 6 in Division I in the state right now, in the semifinals. Then went on to beat Genoa's Noah Koch, who's ranked number 15 in Division III in the state, 8-3 in the final. Very impressive wins. He's I only got 1 loss on the season. He's been rolling through as well. So I'm really excited to see what Lipscomb's going to do going forward. But this week, he went in and beat 2 state-ranked guys.
There you go.
To win a title. That's what you want to see going in. He's starting to kind of head up that mountain, wants to be peaking right at the right time, and hopefully that's what he's going to do. But definitely a very impressive performance by
Sean Lipscomb. All right, so Sean, you deserve the Cobos Insurance Center tip of the cap, and maybe some Tony Pacos as well.
I'll bring some back for him.
All right, Sean, good stuff this week. As always, appreciate you joining me, and hopefully you watching this have enjoyed it as well. Again, a great big thank you to the Cobos Insurance Center. For Sean Bennett, I'm Tim Elkhorn. Thanks for dialing in on this week's Matt Report.